welcome back. So today is day 3 of our week-long Halloween videos, and today I'm actually going to be telling you guys kind of a personal series of events. And the reason that I say kind of personal is because it's not really me, it's not my experiences, it's just what I witnessed from my daughter. So, as you could tell from the title of this video, I think that my daughter can see spirits. And there's a lot of reasons why I believe this, so we are going to go ahead and just jump on into it. So right now, my daughter is currently 3 years old. She just turned 3 a couple weeks ago. But from the time that I brought her home from the hospital, literally from her first day home up until now, there has been weird things or just things that she does or things that I notice that make me believe that she can see the paranormal or some type of spirit or something that visits her. Now, before I start this, I do want to throw in the fact that I know, as well as a lot of other people, if they are involved in the paranormal or do any type of research or investigations, that children and animals are usually more prone to seeing spirits. They usually have more paranormal activity that happens to them versus what happens to us. Mostly because they don't have the barrier and they haven't been conditioned to believe this or to believe that or to explain things away. With children, they just clearly see things for what it is. So that's why it is believed that mostly children and animals are more prone to seeing paranormal things. With that being said, it also adds more evidence as to why I believe this about my daughter. So, like I said, all of this pretty much started literally from the moment that we brought her home. So, as a baby, as a newborn, my daughter used to always randomly smile. Like, she would just be laying there minding her business, and then it's like her eyes would be following something, always up in the corners, the ceiling, the higher parts of the walls. It's always up above her, above us. So she would always like watch things. Like you could see her eyes move like she was following something. And not only that, sometimes she would smile. Like she would just look up in the corner and just start smiling. And she would also smile in her sleep, which I have heard that it can actually be that angels are visiting her. So when a child smiles in their sleep, it normally means that there are angels visiting. So that's another thing that my daughter always did, along with the random looking up and following things with her eyes, looking up and smiling at things in random places of the room, random corners. She would also smile in her sleep, just randomly, just crack a smile. She'd keep it for a minute and then it'll fade away. Sometimes it'll come back. Sometimes it'll only happen once during that time of her sleeping, but she would always smile in her sleep, smile at something in the corner of the room if she was awake, and her eyes would always be following something. So that started out pretty much immediately, and it kept going. And as she got older, as she was able to move around more, as she, came into her personality and who she is, things got a little more strange. She would start just babbling randomly at random things. She would just randomly look somewhere in a random spot of the room and just start babbling. And I kind of got scared about this a few times. I'm like, what does she see? Who is she talking to? She can't really relay messages to me for me to understand like what's going on, who she's talking to, what she sees. So like I'm like a little scared because I'm like, okay, is this like a loved one? Could it be one of her grandfathers? Because both her dad and my dad had passed away before she came. I don't know if it could be my grandmother. My grandmother passed away before she came. I don't know like what it was at this point. Like I still don't know. But she's always done like kind of weird things like that. And then not only would it like transfer into her random babbling to random spots in the room, different corners, different places, she also started to develop this fear. Well, I can't really say that it's a fear, but you could see that she's clearly upset and worried and scared when this has happened. And this has happened quite a few times, more than 3 for sure. But where my daughter's room is actually used to be my room. Before I got pregnant, I had that room. And then once she came along, we switched everything out and I made that her nursery. It's still currently her room till this day. There has been times, like the way my house is set up, like the living room and dining room is pretty open. When you first walk in, it's a bedroom door to my room. And then on down is like a little like square type of hallway where her room is on one side and the bathroom is like directly in front of you. So if you're sitting on the couch the way that my living room is usually set up, if you're sitting on the couch, you could like see diagonal, you could see her bedroom door. If it's open, you could see into her room, whatever. Like, you have a clear view of her room. There has been plenty of times where I'm like, you ready to go in your room? You ready to go to sleep? Let's go in your room for this. Whatever it is, and she would always be terrified. There was actually one time when she started to her room, she stopped, she turned around, she came to me and like just cuddled up, put her face in my chest, like, and I just had to hold her. I don't know what it was that she saw. I don't know if it was scary or if it was just something that she didn't recognize. So with that being said, I don't know if it was a loved one that just caught her off guard, that she doesn't recognize, that she didn't know, or if it was something evil and scary and looked like crazy with horns and red eyes. Like, I don't know what it is that has scared her away from her room multiple times. And that has happened. There has even been times when I'm sitting on the couch and I'm holding her on my lap. She'll point to her room and like put her face in mine, or she'll point to her room and babble something. And this has been ongoing for a while. There's even, if I can find it in my Snapchat memories, there's even a video of me recording like her randomly just talking and laughing with something. And I'm sitting there with my sage. I'm like, y'all, my daughter's scaring me. I'm trying to watch SpongeBob. She's freaking me out. I'm about to sage the whole house. If I could find that clip, I would definitely include it, because that day like was extra scary. Like, that's when she was randomly talking to things. She was pointing to her bedroom door, acting scared of like her bedroom area. And y'all, I still do not know what it is. Okay, so ignore the fact that SpongeBob is blasting in the background. That's partly for me, partly for my daughter. SpongeBob fan here. But anyways, the reason that I'm here is because my daughter has been creeping the shit out of me, right? So I'm going to start in her room, but I'm going to do the whole house. I'm going to sage everything. So I tried to do our usual nighttime routine the other night, and I showed her bottle. I was like, come on, let's go to bed. And she looked at the bottle, looked in her room like hell no, and climbed up on the couch. And then I caught her in her room looking up at her ceiling, like at her fan, with her arms up, like like making noises like she was trying to reach something. She's always looking up, like following shit. Like, I'm terrified. The most recent thing that happened, it scared me, but it didn't scare me, because I think I know what she saw, because she wasn't scared of it. So before I get into that, let me just go ahead and like preface this by saying that we had a family friend. This man was a really good friend. He was an older man, probably like 50s, hitting 60s, something like that. But he was a friend of the family for a while, for a long time, for like 8 years, if not more. This man has been in my house. He's hung out with us. Like, he's been here just to hang, just to chill, to eat, like Thanksgiving. He's done a lot of work in my house as far as like switching out light switches and light fixtures and almost everything in my daughter's room. He helped us put together, paint the walls, her crib, her rocking chair, everything. Like, this man was very involved in my home, in our living space, everything. He was a great person, the most kind person you can ever think to meet. Like, I still speak of him highly. I looked up to him. He was kind of like a father figure without being a father figure to me. It's weird to explain it, but like, just the love that me and my entire family, my daughter's father, like, we all really loved, respected, and like appreciated this man. And he passed away a couple years ago. I'm not going to get into the specifics or anything, but he ended up passing away, and it was kind of unexpected, because he didn't really have like health issues or problems day to day. Like, he wasn't really that much older to like just natural causes. So like, it was kind of unexpected, and it really hit all of us. Like, we all was around this man every day. And so when he passed, his wife gave me a pill bottle full of some gravel rocks that they had took from a cemetery when they went and did like some ghost investigations or some hauntings or whatever. And that's another reason why I bonded with this man so much, was because we were both into the paranormal. He believed in the paranormal. He had experiences. Like, he would tell me his ghost stories, his paranormal stories. He let me like investigate around his apartment. When we went out to locations to ghost hunt, he went with us. Like, he was just as much into it as I was. Like, we would share stories, facts, advice, everything. Like he was ready to go ghost hunting. I could call him up at 3 a.m. and be like, hey, you wanna go find some ghosts? And he's like, yeah, come on over. I've been having shit happen over here all day. So like, he was this type of person. So his wife was like, I know that he would want you to have this, because like it was like a love that we both shared. So when he had passed, I ended up with a pill bottle full of rocks that they took from a cemetery on one of their little journeys or whatever. And I also, you guys can't see it in the clip, but right up here on this wall, he was a medic in the some branch of like the service. And he was a medic like back in the day. And he would always wear like this camo hat with all his little badges and pins and stuff on it. And wherever you saw this man, you would see the hat. Like, he did not leave without this hat. He always had it on unless he was asleep. That's the only time he did not wear this hat. So I had ended up with the hat, and it has been hanging right here since I got it. Since he passed away, it has been on this wall. I haven't taken it down. I haven't moved it. I haven't done anything with it. But I know that he has a connection with this hat because he was never without it. A couple weeks ago, like I said, my daughter, he passed away after my daughter was here. Like, she was only still like a baby. She was a few months, like maybe hitting like a year, because he's been passed away probably going on like 2 years now or so. So she was just like right around a year, maybe a little more, maybe a little less. And so she's had interactions with him. She's seen him. She knows who he is. Even though she wasn't like, you know, mobile or doing what she's doing now, she definitely is familiar with this person. So a few weeks ago, the weirdest thing happened. We were sitting in the living room. I was out there with my daughter. We were minding our business, watching TV, playing, doing activities. I don't really specifically remember what we were doing, but I know we were distracted out there minding our business. My bedroom door to this room was closed. Nobody was bothering it. Nobody felt the need to be in and out. There was nothing in here that we needed at all. My daughter stops what we're doing out there. Like, we're out there watching TV, our activities, coloring, whatever it was we were doing. She just stops. She walks to my bedroom door. She opens it. Like, she kind of like cracks it like a good bit. Not like a little crack, but like not all the way open. So she opens it a little bit. She looks in, she says, hey, backs out, shuts the door, goes back to her normal routine. And I'm sitting there like, who are you saying hey to? Like, because it's so funny. Just a little side note, but before I had my daughter, like, obviously, if you guys know my story, I've had pregnancy issues. I've had 6 miscarriages. It took me a lot to get my daughter. And me and her dad were no longer together now, but throughout this whole process of, you know, trying to have kids, getting pregnant and everything, we were obviously together. And we would always, like, I've always been a nerd for ghosts and paranormal, and I've always been obsessed. I want to watch scary movies, ghost adventures, any type of investigations, anything. So I've always been into that. And we would always watch movies or documentaries or ghost adventure shows or whatever it is. And they, like, we would always ask each other, oh, well, if we ever had a kid and our kid said they saw this, or mommy, there's a monster in the closet, or there's something under my bed, or there's something scary in there, we always had the conversation like, would you believe them? And me being me, I'm like, yes, because like, even though I don't have solid proof of the paranormal, I've never had anything for sure certain that is paranormal happen to me, I still believe that it's out there. So like, as much research and as deep as I am into the paranormal and anything involving ghosts, I was automatically like, yeah, anytime my child tells me they saw something, I'm going to believe it, because 9 times out of 10 in all these movies, the parents don't believe them, and then at the end shit hits the fan and they're like, oh. So I was like, yes, I'm going to believe her. Knowing what I know, I'm going to believe my child whenever they say something like that. So that's like a little side note. We used to always like have these conversations because it was something that's part of my everyday life. When I saw her peek in my room and was like, hey, and just shut the door and went on about her business, I'm sitting there like, because I watched the whole thing happen, because I'm like, why is she leaving? What are you doing? We're busy. And I'm sitting there, she's coming back, and I'm like, who are you saying hi to? And my daughter is she has a little bit of a speech delay. So she's not really saying sentences. She's not putting words together. She'll say like a couple words, but they don't like go together. She can't be like, oh, I saw a man in there. Like, she can't really say anything like that. So she just said, hey, went on. And in my head, I'm like, who are you talking to? And I actually even said it out loud. I'm like, who are you talking to? I got up, I came in, I opened my door, I looked around the room. I'm like, who is in here? Like, what's going on? I didn't know if somebody was in the window. I didn't know what was going on. And I'm like, who is she talking to? Came in here, I looked around, there was literally no one in here. And the more I sat and thought about it, I was like, well, obviously it wasn't something scary, for one, because she would have ran out, she would have been crying, she would have came to me, she would have been clearly upset. So she wasn't scared. She spoke to this thing, this person, this spirit. She spoke to it. She said, hey. Like, she knew them. Like, she wasn't afraid. She was familiar with who this person was. And so the more that I thought about those things, and like, just like her interaction with our friend that passed away, the fact that his hat is in my room, the fact that he was very sweet. He used to always say, like, if anything happens to me, make sure you let that little girl know that Uncle so-and-so did everything, put everything together in her room, like, let her know that Uncle so-and-so did this or whatever. And so, like, he was very, like, I don't know, he was a kid person, he was a people person, he was just very, like, the most friendly person you could ever think of. And so, like, I know that he already had a love for her, even though she wasn't that old, but, like, he was already around her. He already, like, kind of bonded with her. She knew who he was familiar to her. So in my mind, I'm thinking it had to be him, because like I said, she's had interactions with him. I have his hat in here. He was not a scary, terrifying person. He was so nice. So I really wholeheartedly believe, first of all, that my daughter sees things. I believe that she sees spirits, that she's in touch with the paranormal. Now that may fade away as she gets older, because like I said, kids are normally more susceptible or receptive to, you know, the paranormal or having experiences involving the paranormal. So who's to say that as she gets older, it may not be a thing, but also my daughter may be gifted for the rest of her life and just have this thing where she can do things or relate or contact the paranormal in some sort, or that they feel comfortable coming to her. I don't know what it is. As long as it's not evil, malicious, negative, demonic, I'm fine. Like, I do not have any problem with, like, someone who was once living, they were very nice, they were very loving, and they're just here to, like, you know, hang around and let them know, hey, I'm still here, I love y'all, whatever the case is, that's completely fine with me. As long as, you know, she's not having no possessions or nothing crazy, then we are okay. As long as it's not clearly scaring her, then I'm not really worried about it. And like I said, all the experiences that she's had, other than being scared of her room, haven't really been terrifying. Like, she'll smile at whatever she sees. She'll talk to it. She'll follow it around. The only scary part is the part with her room where she'll point at it and kind of like shy away. She'll go to walk in, change her mind, and quickly like book it back out. So that terrifies me a little bit, but as far as everything else, it's been a very like positive and peaceful type of experience. Like I said, she's clearly, other than whatever is, you know, going on with her room, sometimes she'll go in her room and she'll be perfectly fine though. Like, she'll hang out in there all day and play with her toys and not be worried. But yeah, I just wanted to share. I know it's kind of short and a lot of rambling and a lot of like random little details, but I really just wanted to kind of like share this story with you guys because I think it's so intriguing. I think it's so mind-blowing. And from now on, any time that these things happen or that my daughter like seems to act like she sees something, I definitely want to tell you guys about it, because for one, I need help trying to figure out what is going on, and for two, I want to know if anyone else is experiencing this, or if their kids are experiencing this, or if you experienced this with your kids when they were newborns and toddlers. I'm just trying to like put all my pieces together. But I also just wanted to share this little bit of information with you guys, since it is paranormal related and we are doing a whole week of Halloween fun, spooky, scary videos. So I hope that you enjoyed this little mini like story time or personal paranormal experience, even though it's not really personal to me, but it kind of is because it's happening in my home with my daughter, and that's personal. But there it is, you guys. I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, please make sure to leave it a thumbs up. Also, go ahead and leave me your comments down below until my next video. And also, let me know, once again, if this happens to you or your children, or if you have ever experienced anything like this. Be sure to let me know that down below as well. And if you haven't done it already, please make sure you hit that subscribe button. I obviously film and upload randomly, and I have all types of different content, so there's definitely something here for you, and I don't want you to miss out. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and I will see you guys next time. Bye, guys.